All right, everybody. Hey, what's going on? It's another edition of Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. We are in round 2 of the Coliseum 2. This time we've got two great runners to feature in their matchup here. It is Fleury14 and it's Greenmonkey. We are doing the Setzer's Dice flag set, so let's go over that really quickly here. As I do have the image somewhere. Here it is. There's our Setzer's Dice. So, with Setzer's Dice, everybody starts with +5 Vigor and +5 Stamina. Our character stats are wildly random, between 65 and 140% of vanilla. And commands are completely random, so this way you might see the same commands on multiple different characters. And Magitech and Shock are also available. If we do get a Coliseum win, you get 3 high-tier items once you win your Coliseum battle. The interesting things about this flag set is definitely going to be towards the bottom of this little stat sheet here. The shops are random tiered, and the prices of everything in shops are completely random. That's right, no upper limit. Well, 64k is the highest value that you can get in this game, but you get what I mean. So we could run into some really expensive consumables, or perhaps, and hopefully our runners are wishing for this, some really cheap high-tier end items. The chests are also random scaled, meaning that the more chests that you open, the better items will be, and all of the chests are normalized across both of the runners, so the 10th chest, for instance, will be the same for both Fleury and Greenmonkey, no matter what that chest has. We also have some randomness when it comes to espers. There are espers that could have 0 spells, which is never any fun. There's also some espers that could have 5 spells. They are also, the summons is a random amount between 1 and 128, and they could be equipped by a random amount of characters, either from 6 to 12. So not all espers can be equipped by all characters. And to throw even more randomness into here, the bosses are random instead of shuffled, so we might see the same boss multiple times in a seed, and this will affect the Kefka's Tower skip, because Kefka's Tower skip is at 12 unique bosses. So we may or may not be able to get skipped depending upon the route we get and what our characters are doing. The ability scaling is also random, meaning instead of doing the vanilla elemental scaling that we're used to from standard races, Flame Eater could be throwing out some ice spells, some bolt spells, or even some non-elemental spells, which will definitely not be any fun. So that's what Setzer's Dice is up to. We are going to go back here to our layout with both Greenmonkey and Fleury. So on the left-hand side, we have Fleury with the gradient blue and white, and we have Greenmonkey with our vanilla stock blue and white here. So our runners are just about ready to go. I'm going to give them the good luck, have fun, and we'll get this race started, boys and girls. We do start off with Setzer with his vanilla slots, which should be pretty nice for early game, unless Setzer's magic stat roll is pretty low, as it has been in some of these seeds sometimes. So we'll see what happens when our runners get off and running here. We'll see who else we get, because we are going to get 3 different characters. We'll see who we're given. And it is Sabin with Sword Tech and Terra with Blitz. So very nicely done. That gives us a lot of different options open in our starting world here. Setzer has access to the Coliseum as a free check, and also has access to the Daryl's Tomb, which we can peek upon the grave there, and we can also get access to the Doomgaze spot. However, Fleury looks like he's heading right to the cave from the Sealed Gate, which is where Terra is going to be here, or rather that is one of Terra's checks, and there's a bunch of treasure chests here in the basement for us to find, which should be great. Greenmonkey, meanwhile, is heading right to World of Balance Narsh, There is the opportunity to do Terra's Welk Gate check here, but I think this is just going to be a looting and shopping spree. Since our shops are completely random prices, we'll see if there are any goodies that come out of any of the shops here. Very expensive pieces of armor so far, all in the 5 digits, unfortunately. So we also have Sabin, and Sabin has a couple of free checks. There are very cheap 67 GP remedies there. Very nicely spotted. That will cure all of your status ailments except for zombie. Sorry, cranberries. There are revivifies for that, though. And it looks like Green Monkey is taking off all the junk, and he's selling a bunch of it in order to pick up some other items there. We'll see if Fleury decides to take the grind here at the Sealed Gate Cave Ninja spot. $8,200 for earrings, though that's more than they normally are, but in a random price seed, you're happy to see earrings in a shop anywhere, first of all, and second of all, for a decent price. There's $1,000 wing edges as well. Very nice. So lots of decently cheap stuff right off the rip for Green Monkey, whereas Fleury is going to take the looting route, unfortunately, dropping off of the bridge into that completely empty chest there. You hate to see it happen. And it looks like Green Monkey is now going to head towards the cave to the Sealed Gate, but going to make a pit stop here in Albrook. There actually are 5 chests that you could grab in Albrook in the World of Balance. There's an extra one in the World of Ruin you can grab. There are some warp stones available there, and they're only $3,100. That would be very useful in Terra's Zozo Tower check, so this way we don't have to walk all the way out of it. That would be brutal, and in case we don't like what we find in Daryl's tomb, we could also warp out of that check as well. $1,300 for a Pearl Lance is not so shabby. However, we don't have any jump yet. We do have Setzer with slots. We have Terra with Blitz, and we have Sabin with Sword Tech. Or is it Sabin, Blitz, and Terra with Sword Tech? It's one of the two. I don't remember which one it is now. I should have been writing things down or paying more attention here. Alright, so that is an Imp Sprite at the end of the cave to the Sealed Gate, so this is not a character. It is a Magus Rod, though, not an Esper either. Green Monkey finding some cheap dragon horns in the relic shop. Very nice to pick up some Super Balls in a chest, as Arista points out in the chat. They do a random multiple of 256 damage to a random amount of targets. Yeah, so Green Monkey is finding some cheap goodies in the shops right away. And we'll see where Fleury decides to go. He's going to head over to World of Balance South Figaro. Lots of chests here between the outside and the inside. Green Monkey going to follow him down, like the Gin Blossoms would say, to the basement of this Imperial base here, where there's a bunch of chests. Thank you, Will Jin, for singing along in chat. Mark pointing out that we did pick up a coin toss, so you could actually equip it for for GP Rain instead of slots. And since Setzer can vanilla equip it, we know that he will be able to equip the coin toss. There's Boots and Horn in the same shop there. Wow. In World of Balance South Figaro, so that's going to be something really good for our runners to find. That'll turn somebody into a pogo. We just got to find a good weapon for them. We did find $1,300 Pearl Lances in World of Balance Albrook, or rather Green Monkey definitely saw those. Fleury heading on down to the basement here, and it looks like Green Monkey is doing the grind fights here in the South Figaro Cave, trying to get some levels underneath him before perhaps going to the Coliseum to see what the rewards may be there. Always good to get a few levels under you, and it looks like Sabin does have sword tech, so that means Terra has blitz, which is much better because most blitzes are based on the magic power of the blitz user. Pummel is not the case. Pummel's actually based on strength, and so is the infamous suplex. But most of the blitzes that are worth having are based on magic, so we're going to equip some magical increasing relics onto Terra, those earrings, and perhaps equip her with some magic increasing stat sticks as well. He is going to get a Magus Rod at the end of the cave to the sealed gate. Didn't see if Terra can equip it or not. We haven't gotten that far yet. So this is an upper bracket match of our Coliseum 2. The winner of this match will go on to face Falcon Hit in the Week 4 upper bracket of the Coliseum. And whoever is on the losing side of this match will end up going against, let's see, Boo from the lower bracket. So two great runners that our runners have to advance on to face. So neither of these runners will be out of the tournament if they lose this race, because this is a double elimination tournament, and this is the upper bracket after all. Let's see what the merchant's selling here. Some $4,500 dried meat. That's pretty cheap compared to what I've seen it go for in some seeds, including my own that I ran yesterday against Jexferox. Dried meat was 58,000 GP. That's some expensive jerky there. All right, Fleury looks like he's heading up from Returner's Hideout to the Narsh area here. We'll see if this is just a shopping trip or if this is also to go see what's at the Welka Gate. Green Monkey takes one of his warp stones, and you can warp out of the cave to the sealed gate. However, it only brings you to the bridge if you warp out of the gate or the cave there, as that soldier was getting in his way a little bit and a little bit more. Don't he wish he has YMPC removed for this flag set instead of Shadows, huh? Cat hood and a treasure chest there for Fleury. That will mean if anyone can equip it, that you will pick up all of the gold from any particular fight. So that's really nice to have. And we'll see which one of our runners decide to take on a boss first. It looks like Green Monkey is in the World of Ruin to Zen. Gonna go check out and see what's in the collapsing house. Now, you can go talk to the innkeeper here, and she will give you a free heal. Normally, when you go to inns, they cost money, but not in this particular case. In this, when you're going to the collapsing house, when somebody is holding up the house. Pretty cheap sword there. Mid-level sword for $6,100. Setzer can equip it, although I would rather be doing slots than using the fight command, especially early on in the seed. Fleury finding those earrings there as well. Lots of just junk that's flying out the door here. I wonder what Green Monkey has seen that he wants. Yeah, I don't know if Fleury will need 91 of those remedies. Maybe 10, 20 at the most. Alright, a couple of pairs of Genji armor is what Green Monkey is buying there. And we'll see if he visits the relic shop. Fleury also heading into Albrook here, so he will see all of the different treasures that Green Monkey had seen when he came in here. Some more cheap dragon horns in that shop. Only 19,000 for the Tizen Thief. We don't know if that is an Esper or an item yet. We can only tell in the World of Balance. And there's those cheap Pearl Lances. Interestingly enough, Fleury does not choose to buy them, even though he's got the boots and the horn there. He comes back in for a scimitar. It's a very, very high battle power sword. and can also proc Cleave, which can instant kill things. Green Monkey does not look like he's going to take on the monster in the boxes here. Didn't find a Valiant Knife or an Atma weapon or some fixed ice yet, so, or a sniper, so there's not really any reason to have an offering as of yet. We'll see what the reward is here, as it's a soldier sprite, so this is definitely not a character. It's either an Esper or an item. And it is Fenrir. That is a great pickup for Magicite there from Green Monkey. So Fenrir's summon is casting image status on your entire party, which is great because the image status will allow you to dodge any physical attack at least once. And then there's a 50% chance of the image status being broken upon that first attack. Looks like Fleury is going to rearrange his party here in order to start getting some fights on. So Green Monkey finding the Dragoon Boots here in the world of Ruin South Figaro. And remember, he bought a couple of Dragon Horns as well. So this is going to be a seed that some of our runners that favor the jump commands would really like to have here. So it looks like he's going to the Imperial camp, and by he I mean Fleury. This is one of Sabin's checks, and there are no bosses here. There are 4 forced encounters, however, so it looks like this is how he's going to gain his early levels, because he's still on level 3. Not going to gain a lot of levels from a single bomb, though. Little pause buffering for the slots. I usually just mash the A button, but pause buffering is definitely a good technique in order to get some of those higher end slots like Sun Flare and H-Bomb. That is a soldier fighting other soldiers. We have some mutiny within the Imperial army there. That means that this is not a character here at the Imperial camp. This is either an Esper or an item. Meanwhile, Green Monkey checking out what the basement has in store for him. Little Super Ball action there from Fleury. Taking out one of those Chaos Dragons and the bird. I don't know if it's just me, but I've never actually seen a Chaos Dragon actually attack me before. I don't know if there's something wrong with their script, but speaking of Pogo, and we've got One Free Fitz and Boo both enjoying the opportunity to have some cheap boots and horn. That's definitely the way to go so far in this seed. I didn't see if any of our characters could equip the Pearl Lance that we found for cheap. And it looks like Fleury is just going to try and blitz, although that's probably not the right word to use because there are actual blitz commands. But he's going to try and fire through this these fights as quickly as possible here. Alright, Green Monkey looks like he's making a trip over to the Coliseum Inn. Nope, he took a right turn and went to the Coliseum. So we'll see what's here, if there's anything good. Remember, for winning the Coliseum, for Setzer, we do get 3 high-tier items. And it looks like Terra can equip the Pearl Lance. So perhaps that's what she's going to be doing in our Coliseum here. Boots plus Horn plus Pearl Lance. One of the better strategies in the game, and oh! Very nice, clutchly done there by Terra, jumping with that scimitar. Flame shield there for an Atlas armlet. Now, I think Green Monkey bought an Atlas Armlet for like 2,800, or 28,000 rather, GP, which is still less than what a Flame Shield would normally be. Oh, jumping out of the way of that Blowfish. Very nice. Unfortunately, this level 50 magic is not going to drop him any XP. One Free Fits pointing out big XP fights prior to that. That's the Phoenix Esper from Fleury. And that's Green Monkey with 3 high-tier items jumping over the Blowfish. Very nice. So let's see what those items are. Ice Shield is one of them. Minerva is another one. And possibly... Oh, an Experience Egg. Wow. Very nice. So... that is one of the reasons to visit the Coliseum, because you have your chance at Experience Eggs there. Another Magicite for Fleury at the Coliseum. This one's Bahamut. Nothing on the first one. Ice 3 on Bahamut. If we had an Atma weapon, that other Esper would be pretty decent with that HP plus 100 bonus. Phoenix is an okay summon if you get into trouble where you have multiple characters down at the same time. Yeah, so the haul for the Coliseum was actually pretty decent. Even just the Experience Egg alone is good, but we also got an Ice Shield in there as well. And a Minerva. Magic Power plus 1 is the only thing on that Fenrir Esper. That was obtained from the Collapsing House. Meanwhile, Fleury got his 2 Espers from the Imperial Camp and from the Coliseum Inn. We'll see where he decides to go next. As Green Monkey is going to head over to the Coliseum Inn. This time in World of Ruin. You can get Setzer's Reward from either world. So he's going to grab his Bahamut Esper. Fleury gonna take a dip in and see what the heck is actually in here. A little Imp Armor action if we find an Imp Halberd. I was very happy to do that in my seed that I played. Not often you get to do Imp strats. It's very fun when it does happen. All right, so it looks like Fleury is gonna head right outside the Coliseum as well. So he is gonna grab some sort of item, and hopefully he he's leaving a little gap between his consumables and his items, so that this way he knows exactly what those 3 high-tier items are when he goes into his menu. Genji helmet for one of those cheap remedies. So, in Worlds Collide, we do have this Coliseum menu option because the rewards are randomized. So it shows you what you'll get for what you bet, and oh no, that's a Chupon. So, unfortunately, I don't think Fleury is going to win this fight. However, getting sneezed out of the Coliseum by Chupon will actually allow you to get the objective of winning a Coliseum fight. Since technically you don't lose, but you also don't win. If I were him, I'd just wait here for, oh no, I'm sorry, it's AI controlled, never mind. Yeah, this is gonna heal Chupon. And Fleury decides to reset out of that one, yikes. You hate to see it happen. Hopefully he picks another item. I mean, that's the only item that I see in this list that's any decent. We do get 120 out of the 255 items are visible in our Coliseum 2 flag set. There we go. So he bets some garbage, gets some garbage out of it, but more importantly, he's going to get that Experience Egg. There it is, Experience Egg, Ice Shield, and Minerva. Those are the items that I believe were the rewards for from this particular Coliseum play. So now the question is, who do you put the experience egg on? And if this were me, I would put the experience egg immediately on my Blitz user, who's Terra, so that we could potentially get to Bum Rush at level 42. Because that is essentially going to be the most powerful thing that Terra will be able to do. Unfortunately, you cannot target with Bum Rush, but it is way better than using using Boots and Horn. Another alternative is to put it on Sabin, who's your Sword Tech user. Sword Tech 8 is also really nice to have, although it's very hard to get. But Sword Tech 7 is at least pretty decent. And having Sword Tech 5 also is great because it allows you to essentially heal your character or give them MP back whenever they want. So Sword Techs 5, 6, and 7 are all really good, as Andrew points out in the chat. Sword Tech 6 is also very good. It will do some magical damage to everything on the screen. And the great thing about Sword Tech 6 is that it does not do split damage. So it will do the same damage whether you have one target or multiple targets. So Green Monkey in the Imperial Camp, we already saw that this was another Esper. And Fleury has found Kefka. Not the Kefka we want to see, though. So, at this Doomgaze spot, the reward can only be an Esper or an item, so we're still looking for character number 4. This is where I turn it over to you, chat. Who do you think character number 4 is going to be, and where are they going to be? I'm going to guess we're going to get Locke at Zozo. Oh, boo, too soon. Leo in the graveyard. Yikes. Got Shadow at Leet River, Mog at Waterfall. There's lots of other options here. Kefka at Narsh with Realm, Go-Go. Leet River Yeti. Do Sasquatches know how to swim? I don't know. Alright, and there is Kefka saying, see you later. Setzer has 7 HP in a dream. Who didn't say that Setzer was lucky, right? And it is an Esper for Fleury. Adding on to that total. Leo with the perma-zombie status. Alright, so we have a lot of options open that our runners have not done yet. In terms of Setzer checks, we just have Daryl's Tomb available. In terms of Sabin checks, we have Mount Colts, and we have Phantom Train, and we have Barren Falls left to see. And for Terra, we have Welk, Leet River, Zozo, and Mobliz left. So Terra has been largely unexplored by our runners so far. Alright, we'll see if Fleury just decides to buy it. And it is a Flame Shield, so it's not an Esper there at Zen Thief. It is another Elemental Shield. We got one Flame Shield in the chest. We got one Ice Shield from the Coliseum. And now we got yet another Flame Shield. So, I'm starting to think about Merton. Unfortunately, 2 of our 3 Espers that we have have 0 spells on them. So that's certainly not going to help our runners in terms of casting anything. The most I've seen in a seed is 3, and that was my own seed with Jex Varrock so far from going through the Coliseum videos that I've gone through for my recap at the end of the week. Smart choice from Green Monkey here, seeing that his characters are at low HP, is going to head over to Barren Falls. You do get a heal after you jump off here. So he'll be at full health. Andrew playing his best Snoop Dogg impression. Merton was the case that they gave me. And uh-oh, is this Magi Master here at Barren Falls? Yes, it is. Oof. Green Monkey says, no, thank you. Alright, so Barren Falls, at least for now, is cordoned off from some of our runners. We could potentially get through Magimaster. We have access to Sword Tech 1, which is Dispatch, which will ignore defense. We do have Pummel from Terra that will also ignore defense. And we do have Setzer that uses slots, and some of his slots, like Chocobop and Seven Flush, will either ignore defense or non-elemental attacks. So, depending upon what Magimaster decides to do, there is a path forward through Magimaster with what we currently have, because we have Minervas, we have Elemental Shields in case he wants to cast those spells. Unfortunately, with this Setzer's Flag set, the enemy ability scaling is random, so we don't know exactly what Magimaster is going to cast. And at 27 minutes into our seed, just like Dishwant's 27, that's my name, we are going to see dueling Magimaster fights here. Mute and Stop on Carbuncle. So if we had Poltergeist, that would be nice to have. And Mute is great for Final Kefka. So we'll see Green Monkey attempt number 2 at Magimaster. Mark pointing out in the chat, we did have access to the Coin Toss Relic, so we could have had GP Rain, which is also non-elemental. Very nice. Green Monkey deciding, let's break the Ice Shield for the first attack there on Magimaster. If you don't know what to do up against Magimaster and you don't have Berserk, use your hardest hitting elemental attack first, because then he'll put on the wall change afterwards, and you're not guaranteed that that particular element will actually harm Magimaster. As he opens with Launcher against Flurry, and that's an insta reset. That's a Bahamut summon as well from Sabin, so Bahamut is both defense ignoring and non-elemental. So Green Monkey's already pumped almost 10,000 damage into this Magimaster. We'll see how much longer Magimaster lasts here. I would love to see a live action Final Fantasy VI with Kefka by Nicolas Cage, Sabin is David Harbour, and Gao is Daniel Radcliffe. And there we go, boys and girls. Green Monkey has taken down the Magimaster. While Flurry was rebuffed, he went up instead to hide in the Hide Knights here at the Welk spot. I didn't get to see if that was a character or not that came down from the Welk cave. That is another Esper with Shiva. Teaches the Doom spell, which will be helpful on Final Kefka as well. Millie Bobby Brown as Realm. That's a good call as well. John Cena as Sabin. I mean, he did really good in Peacemaker. Anybody see that show on HBO? Alright, well, when Haydn is left alone, he does usually a pretty powerful spell. Poison Frog, not all that powerful, though. Our scaling is 2.5 times our progression, and both runners have 3 characters and 4 Espers, and we got Green Monkey heading to Mount Colts. I liked Millie Bobby Brown and Enola Holmes too. Green Monkey, I think, forgot to put his Moogle Charm on. Yeah, here we go. An ensemble cast for a live-action Final Fantasy VI. I would have to think that, oh no, this is gonna kill Terra unless she ends up healing herself right here. Very nice. Whew, keeping Terra alive, just barely though. It'll kind of be like the Marvel movies, right? Alright, so Green Monkey heading over to Vargas here. Vargas would probably have to be another wrestler, I would assume. Same with Dataluma. Hey, speaking of Vargas, in his vanilla spot. And that's hiding dead for Fleury. Unfortunately, Setzer is lying on the ground there. It is a Magicite, though, Tritok, so you can see what the reward is at the Whelp Cave. If it's a Narsh Guard that comes down at you, it's either an Esper or an item, and if it's a character that peeks out, then you know it's a character. Cure 3 on Tritok, so we got some Cure spell this seed. Very nice to see. Unfortunately, with that Esper's random equipable set from anywhere from 6 to 12, not everybody can learn Cure 3. And let's see, it's another piece of Magicite Unicorn at Mount Zozo. Rather, at Mount Colts. That's Berserk on that Esper as well. So Fleury, if he wants to go back against Magimaster, he can go to Mount Colts, learn Berserk, and then use that on Magimaster. Alright, chat, so let's take stock of the places that we still have yet to check for our fourth character. We have Kefka at Narsh, we have Zozo Tower, we have Mobliz, and we have the Phantom Train. Other than that, I think we've seen all of the other spots that between both of our runners. Oh, and Daryl's Tomb, too. So we've got 5 different spots for our sixth character. Yeah, so 65 GP was the cost of a remedy in this seed. It's one of the lowest things I've seen. I'll give you a sneak peek. I've been writing up my round 2 recap. And Magre versus Drulith, there were 4 GP muscle belts. That's the cheapest thing that I've seen so far. From all of the seeds that I've watched. That's pretty crazy. Andrew coming in with Key and Peel as Vixen Wedge. I could see that. Very cool. Wasn't Colin Farrell Penguin? So he's used to being make-up doll to hell. So maybe Colin Farrell can be Umaro. Anyway, this is degenerated into casting a live-action Final Fantasy VI. We are going to see some new information here on Fleury14's side. We are going to see what the reward is at Daryl's Tomb. You could read the reward on the inscription of the grave. Unfortunately, you have to reset out if it's something you don't like. Alright, Fleury is still digging in these monster in the boxes. Unfortunately, not finding the Katana Soul. I don't know if we have a Valiant Knife or an Atma Weapon or a Fixed Dice or a Sniper to pair with that offering. Maybe he's just looking for Katana Soul for money. Maybe he's also looking for Minerva's, perhaps. Oh, and there it is! It is Locke! So I was correct that the fourth character was Locke, but I was incorrect in saying that it was going to be at Zozo Tower. It is here. It is here at Daryl's Tomb. So with this, Fleury is going to jump out to a bit of a lead because he's the first runner with our fourth character. Usually in Worlds Collide, it's very difficult to tell who's ahead and who's behind, just due to the nature of it not being a key item sort of randomizer. It's instead based on, you know, how many characters you collect, or how many espers you have, or how many dragons you defeat, or even, you know, if you've completed a certain quest or not. But in this case, it's pretty clear that even though our runners are identical with 9 pieces of progression each, Fleury is slightly further along with Locke here. Locke with capture. A little French vanilla action there. Green Monkey, however, is going to take the trek up to Kefka at Narsh. So this will be our first look at Kefka at Narsh as well. Unfortunately, it is a merchant, and he just turns right around. That reminds me of, like, the meme with the little kid that comes running down the hallway and just is like, nope, and just turns around and goes back the other way. Or in The Simpsons, the grandpa who puts his hat on the hat rack and when he walks into the bar and just turns around and walks back out. Somebody get on these memes. Gembox or Snow Muffler? This one's a pretty easy choice for me. Yeah, we're cozying up with the Snow Muffler. All right. Locke has the Man-Eater for Fleury, so Man-Eater will deal double damage to quote-unquote human targets, and there's a decent set of human targets in the game. For instance, Final Kefka is considered human. Kefka at Narsh is considered human. I believe goddesses as well, which doesn't make sense, because goddesses are not humans. Yeah, very interesting. Alright, looks like Green Monkey is going to give me what I want and go to the Zozo Tower. We'll see if there's a character here. And if there is, he's right back in it. And if not, he's got to get to Daryl's tomb. Fleury, meanwhile, is parked right outside of the South Figaro Cave. This is one of Locke's checks. And how the Worlds Collide algorithm disperses characters when it creates seeds is usually it is deeper than it is wide, meaning your new characters will come from the characters that you just acquired versus the ones you already have. It's a whole math probability statistic tree problem that computer science nerds like me love, but just trust me when I say that that's how it works. Alright, we got our second Vargas fight. Remember when I said that bosses are random and they are not shuffled? So, Fleury has not gone to Mount Cults, whereas Green Monkey has. So this is technically a unique boss for Fleury, but it would not be for Green Monkey. Alright, so Green Monkey is fighting up against Super Behemoth. Sir Behemoth, Sriracha Behemoth, Scrontium Behemoth, Senor Behemoth. There it is. The maracas come out in the chat for Si Senor. Scrappy Behemoth, Sriracha Behemoth, Sister Behemoth. Oh, and we get Fleury with pummeling away Vargas. As you see, you do get XP, but you don't get a lot of XP if you do the pummel Vargas method. And that is a Magicite there for Fleury. And we have an instant death on the second half of SR Behemoth there on Green Monkey's screen. Alright, come on, Green Monkey. Show us the reward. Stop messing around. I want to know. Alright, Fleury is going to go to Mount Colts, and he's going to fight yet another Vargas. Green Monkey keeping us in suspense here, and it is another Esper. Okay, chat. Well, it looks like we've got some more decisions to make. Fire 3 on that spell, very nice, or on that Esper rather. And it is Shoat, which is nice for the final battle. Tier 1, one of the parts is susceptible to Petrify. Alright, chat, so where do we think our 5th character is? Our options are Phoenix Cave and Mobliss, and I think that's it. Oh, and Phantom Train. Those are our 3, and Leet River. We got 4 options for where our next character is. So who is it and where are they? Leet River, Phantom Train, Phoenix Cave, and World of Ruin Mobliss, which is what Green Monkey is going to show us now. And it's a Flame Shield. Definitely don't want that, unless we want, you know, some more unique bosses to get skip. Because it won't increase the scaling, because it's not going to be progression there. And you get to fight at least 1 unique boss with Funbaba 3, and potentially 2, depending upon what the second boss is. Alright, so now we've narrowed our choices down to Leet River, or Phoenix Cave, or Phantom Train for our character. And it looks like Green Monkey is going to oblige and give us the Phantom Train here. So as a runner, I like to get characters more than I like to get Espers, because it then opens up the world for me a bit more. And it is Edgar, a Figabro, on the Phantom Train with Sketch, Yick, but natural magic, yay, and a very high vigor. At 64 with that wing edge, it was 52, I think, or in the 50s before that. Alright, and that's another Magicite for Fleury. So both of our runners are at 4 and 7 right now. Green Monkey does have to complete Phantom Train, but technically, since he picked up the progression in the caboose, he has already increased the scaling for this particular fight. So if you are, you know, feeling a little underleveled and you go to the Phantom Train and you want to see what the reward is, you can look in the caboose, and if it's a character, you know it's there. If it's obviously an NPC, you'll then have to talk to the NPC to figure out what it is. But if you don't pick it up, you will get the reward at the very end of the train, and your scaling is a little bit less. So, just a little tip and trick, a life hack for you on the Phantom Train, if you will. Alright, no escape for Green Monkey. He's going to have to keep going on the train. And Fleury is going to head up to Zozo Tower and get his 8th Esper. Alright, so now we have a few more options open to us because Green Monkey has given us Edgar. Edgar has 3 different checks. The Figaro Castle Throne. He has the Figaro Engine Room in the World of Ruin, and Ancient Castle. Unfortunately, you cannot open up Ancient Castle without first completing the Figaro Engine Room. So we'll see if Green Monkey, after this fight, assuming he gets through it, will go immediately right to an Edgar check, or if he'll choose something else. Penn and Teller as Ultros and Chupon. Very nice. I like that a lot, especially with the Teller, you know, not talking thing with just Chupon who sneezes you away. Fleury's still using slots with Setzer. So slots I like to use in the beginning of the game, and sort of towards the mid-game. I would call what we're in now kind of the endish game, because we're at 4 characters and 7 espers, so I would have hoped to have transitioned Setzer onto, you know, some better magic. Some more, what's the word I'm looking for? Some more reliable sources of damage. Don't want to be getting Lagomorph when you want to be dealing damage, right? Alright, so that is Green Monkey done with the Phantom Train, and we'll see if he immediately starts heading over towards Setzer. Lagomorph, however, does do things like cure sleep, poison, and blind. So if you need it in a pinch, it'll help with those sort of things. However, in this seed with our very super cheap 60-something GP remedies, I don't think we're going to need that. And just as I thought, Green Monkey is right outside of the World of Ruin, South Figaro Cave, so it looks like he's going to head down there and see what's in the Edgar path. It would be rather unfortunate if there are no characters down in the Edgar stuff, because it's rather lengthy to walk all the way down and walk all the way back from the ancient castle. That would not make me happy. Fleury pulling out the Esper Summon Odin here in order to potentially take care of the second half of SR Behemoth, and he does. Very nicely done. He just learned Berserk on one of his characters, so maybe he's thinking, hey, I just learned Berserk, let's head back over to Barren Falls, and that would be yet another Esper. Merchant Sprite, rather, for Green Monkey, though this is not going to be a character on the first path of Edgar, but remember we have the Figaro Throne, and we have the Ancient Castle still. Yeah, so Fleury has a decision to make. Do I now go to Barren Falls after just unlocking Berserk? That's what I would probably do. He's not going to be happy with the result, though. Because he'll have his 9th Esper, and he'll need to go look for characters. And as I mentioned, usually your characters are in your newer recruits than your starting party, just because Worlds Collide is deeper than it is wide. So therefore, in order to make it more deep, that means that characters have to be underneath other characters in sort of the logic tree. Pretty easy boss over on Green Monkey's side with Leader. As you see, Green Monkey has transitioned his Edgar to both Fire 3 and Ice 3 instead of using slots. Sure, it uses a bit more MP, but it's also a lot more reliable of damage as he just one-shot Leader there. And that is the Golem Esper for Green Monkey. That's a very nice pickup. Alright, and Green Monkey is heading back up and out. He only has 6 unique bosses killed. There is a Kefka Tower skip at 12 unique bosses. For comparison, Fleury has 5 unique bosses killed. And he is going to get his 6th here with Magimaster. It's Shadow on the throne. So I know somebody said Shadow. Unfortunately, Shadow is not good enough to get into the party. As yikes, that was a bad opening spell there for Magimaster, taking Locke down to 5 HP and sets her down to 52 HP. So Shadow opens up 5 different checks The cave on the Veldt is something that you can peek before going there. Gao Manor, which is a free check, or the 3-part floating continent. Unfortunately for Fleury, Magimaster is very high defense, and Sword Tech 4 does not ignore defense, whereas Sword Tech 1 does. But with Berserk, this fight shouldn't be that big of a problem anymore for him. More about just dealing out damage here. Hey, Coliseum background. I should be using that, actually. That's another background there. I don't know, I'm just playing around with my settings now. Let's do that, actually. Oop. There we go. That's a more appropriate layout, I think, for this event here, right, Coliseum? There it is. Anyway, Fleury taking down Magimaster. He's going to get Magicite number 9. I don't know, I was looking, I've never seen this part of the overlay before. I just must have never looked down that far. I don't like how the text of Fleury14 is sort of cut off at the top, but hey, we'll deal with it. Alright, and Green Monkey is going to find his 6th character here with Locke at Daryl's Tomb. And then he'll be 1 Esper away from Go Mode. Fleury is going to find his Edgar here at Phantom Train. And he'll be 1 character away from Go Mode. I'm guessing that these backgrounds are only on the 2-player layout, not the 4-player layout. That's probably why I've never realized that this is here. Alright, so we got Green Monkey getting Locke, and we've got Fleury getting Edgar. Phantom Train is a bit of a longer check, and Green Monkey just has to go grab an Esper from somewhere. And since he just picked up Locke, we'll see if that somewhere is South Figaro Cave. It doesn't look like it. It looks like we're going to get a cave on the Veldt check here. Yeah, so I think from now on in the Coliseum matches, I'll use this overlay. Although it's also different than the overlay that we've been using for for capturing stuff. Speaking of stuff, go follow our runners. I don't know, I was trying to figure out a segue there. LQ Fleury14 and Green Monkey FF. And that Strago So you can see what the reward is in the Veld Cave before you go there. So Green Monkey is deciding to go ahead and pick up Strago. One of the reasons I think he's doing this is when you finish the cave on the Veld check, you automatically end up in World of Ruin Thamasa, and you can then do either Ebbett's Rock or the Burning House right there from it. So perhaps that's what Green Monkey is thinking. And this is another SR Behemoth, but since we've already beat him once, he only has his undead form, similar to when you fight him again on the Veld. Green Monkey did not check the weapon shop. However, it is 2 items. There are no espers at the item shop or the weapon shop. And that's Strago, so let me mark him off for Green Monkey. There we go. Sabin doing pitiful damage there with Sword Tech 4. Sword Tech 4 is not exact... I'd rather use Sword Tech 1 than 4. It's a slower animation. It's a faster animation. It doesn't do as much damage, rather, but it's a much faster animation. Green Monkey is... automatically disqualified for not petting the dog. And he's selling his cat armor too. He's just a hater. He likes monkeys, but not any other animals, I guess. Yeah, Sword Tech really doesn't come online until you get to 5, 6, and 7. Welcome, Chimera Mage. And if you have questions, you could ask them certainly in the chat, and I will answer them. Or you could join our Discord. Link is in the description there or in the chat. And once you do, you can get connected with a beginner's house where we answer all sorts of questions about getting started. Alright, well, Green Monkey did not do... Search the Skies here, and I believe this will get him his last Esper. Alright, and Fleury is heading right to the throne, so he's going to get his 6th character at the same time that Green Monkey is going to get his 9th Esper, and both of our runners are going to be in go mode here. Around the same time. Woo! I'm on the edge of my seat here, folks. I mean, you can't see it because there's no webcam, but trust me, it's happening. Green Monkey does have, I believe, 8 unique bosses, whereas Fleury only has 7. So I'm not sure that we're going to see a Kefka Tower skip here. We really need at least 9 going into Kefka's Tower to even attempt it. And with Setzer's flags, you're not guaranteed to get unique bosses in the tower either. So a bit of a linear seed, this one, with Locke at Daryl's Tomb and Edgar at the Phantom Train. Hefe with the tagline, Worlds Collide Racing. You pay for the whole seat, but you only need the edge. I like it. Put that on a promotional video. Alright, I think both of our runners have very similar items, because I don't think they did very many different things. I think Green Monkey did the Figaro engine room for 1 Esper, as he's in go mode. 1 hour and 30 seconds is when he enters Kefka's Tower. Whereas Fleury did not, but I believe Fleury did... Fleury did a different check than Green Monkey did at some point in the seed somewhere. You get that other Esper. trying to remember which one it was now, but I can't remember. Alright, so Fleury looks like he's going to go and fight Phantom Train. So, or Ghost Train. Here's a little secret. If you ever want to fight Ghost Train, you enter into the Phantom Forest from the south side like that, and you can step into the Phantom Train and fight Ghost Train immediately. So if you ever have a seed where one of the requirements is to suplex a train, this is how you can guarantee getting a suplex. Green Monkey overloading the third path. I don't know exactly how many bosses he has. It's either 8 or 9, because I saw his tracker and it was at 8, but I don't remember if the last boss he fought was a repeat or not. And oh boy, this is Doom. And Fleury resetting out. I thought he wanted to fight the Ghost Train. Or did he just want a heal? So if you just want a heal, you have to go into the Phantom Forest from the top side, because you can't get out from the bottom side unless you have a Warp Stone. Which is funny, because Green Monkey actually asked this question in our Discord a couple days ago. So there it is. You can always fight Ghost Train if you have Sabin. You just gotta defeat the Phantom Train check, and then head back in. And we got ourselves a suplex, boys and girls. Hurrah, hurrah. The meme winner of the stream. He's won already. Let's mark it. Winner, winner. Winner, winner. No, I'm kidding. And he's resetting out again? No, I'm sorry. That was just a blip on the radar here. Alright, so that is unique boss number 8 down. So perhaps Fleury goes into the tower, fights Toilet Atma, and that'll be his, hopefully, unique boss number 9. And then he can potentially get his skip with overloading the middle party. Green Monkey, I don't know how many bosses he's killed, because it's not on his tracker, but let me just do a quick count here. Oh no, I can't do a quick count because of repeat bosses, so never mind. I was trying to be slick, and that's what happens when you try and be slick. Yeah, so at most, Green Monkey has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At most he's got 8, and that one's 9. Unless I'm miscounting. Yeah, so Dr. DT asks in chat, you can grind Phantom Train without increasing scaling. Yes, but the XP doesn't give a lot of XP relative to, like, other bosses. I wonder what Fleury is looking for here. Because he's now in Jador. And going to the auction house. Meanwhile, Green Monkey is continuing to make his trek through the tower. Yeah, so after you defeat after you do the Phantom Train check, if you want to fight Ghost Train, it's very similar to Ebbett's Rock, where the rooms in the Phantom Forest get randomized. And you just eventually have to get lucky and find the path that'll take you to the Ghost Train. Sorry about that. I don't know why I was dropping so many frames. OBS was just like, nope, we're gonna just cut your internet here. Phantom Train, I think, also gives 5 magic points. It's either 5 or 10, and oh no! Another statue boss in the tower here for Green Monkey. Yep, so he wisely takes off the Pearl Lance, because the Pearl Lance will heal Goddess, and decides to jump with the Man-Eater with Terror, which will actually do double damage. So this is a win-win situation here. Oof. Thankfully, Edgar's going back up in the air. And Setzer is taking a nap. Alright, and at 106, 50-ish, we got Fleury in Kefka's tower, so he's about 6 minutes and 20 seconds behind. Some of that was due to the shopping that he did, because both of our owners got go mode at basically the same time. And that's Goddess dead for Green Monkey. So Fleury is also overloading the third group, hoping to get that that skip. I'm trying to see if there's a table that I can get to that shows you what characters are human or not. The site that I usually use is kind of terrible for it. And that's another Doom. Yikes, this is an awful Kefka's tower so far. It's on the boss exploits spreadsheet. There we go. Thank you very much. We do have lots of fun guides and things like this on our website, ff6wc.com. Unfortunately, with Doom nullifying Pearl from the force field, got a lot of 0 damage there coming out from Terra. Andrew saying that this should be renamed Doom Castle. I kind of agree. Well, considering that I have done some work with the music randomizer, maybe every time the Doom boss comes up, instead we'll play the At Doom's Gate E1 M1 track ID instead. That'd be the way to go there. Yeah, before I started doing like randomizer speedruns, I was a very prolific FPS player on all my years on YouTube, and you know, Doom and Duke Nukem and those sort of games kind of got me started with GoldenEye and all that fun stuff. So I know a thing or two about Doom. Thank you, Fitz, for pointing that out. All right. So Green Monkey here is at the apex of the tower of the one side, and unfortunately, he's going to have to warp out and come back in. He only has, I think that was 10 bosses killed. So we'll see what he does here. He could try and perhaps get Toilet Atma for a 11th boss, or he can go to World of Ruin Mobliz, because remember, it's a dead check there. It's a flame shield, and he can fight at least one unique boss, potentially two, and not increase the scaling. That's what I might have done, is head over to Mobliz and maybe try and get lucky and get Skip outside of the tower. I did that in my race against Jexvarok, and spoiler alert, didn't go too well for me. But Jex is just a very good runner. So even with all my Galaxy Brain strategies, it still might not have mattered. Yeah, so with the music randomizer that we have for Worlds Collide, you can actually specify which tracks go with which events, basically. And we do have, there is, I think, one song from Doom and a bunch of songs from Final Fantasy X. And of course, obviously, all the Final Fantasy VI vanilla tracks. So you could potentially do that, Hefe, make, you know, the game with only those tracks. I do that with my own personal version of the music randomizer. I have like only the music that I enjoy, which is like some Chrono Trigger tracks, some Secret of Mana tracks, some other like JRPG games that I played back in the day, some Mega Man tracks, because Mega Man X is my favorite music soundtrack ever. You mix all that up and you could go wild with it. So you could use, there's a playlist feature on the music randomizer. Obviously, it's not available with Seedbot. You have to kind of know how the music randomizer works a little bit. I did do a write-up on it in case you're interested. It's in some guide somewhere. But you could always let me know. Rickroll the opera. I mean, you can change the opera music to Robo's theme, which is essentially a Rickroll, right? You can do that. Alright. So greenmonkey just walked right past Toilet Atma, so I don't think he's going to be doing that strategy. It looks like he just split up his party 2 and 2 in order to send one up the left side, one up the right side. And is just going to re-walk back through the tower. And this is the unfortunate part about not getting the skip, is you're just walking through the tower multiple times. And this takes up minutes. This isn't like a couple of second time loss. This is like 3 or 4 minutes to do. Dr. GT, oh my hero, we're no strangers. No strangers to love. Yeah, I mean, the programming side of it is just commenting out a line of code. It's, if you know how to hit the exclamation point to insert a comment at the beginning of a line of code, then you'll be okay. And then you have to create the playlist file, which is just a flat text file. I could do a demo of it on my YouTube channel one day, if enough people are interested in it. Alright, so Fleury looks like he's going to take his middle group and going to walk all the way back to Toilet Atma here. So you can do this if you have all 3 of your party step on the switches. It lowers that middle platform, and it allows you to walk backwards through Kefka's tower like this. He's got to go the other way. There you go. A long way around. Because Fleury is at, what, 9 bosses. So this, in this particular manner, he's going to fight Toilet Atma, and he's going to hope that it's a unique boss that will put him at 10, and then what he'll do is he'll continue through the tower for 11 and 12. Oh man, that's another statue! Oh my goodness. Alright, so in Kefka's tower so far, we've seen Doom at the Inferno spot, we've seen Goddess at the Guardian spot, we've seen Doom at the Poltergeist spot, and we've seen Goddess at the Toilet Atma spot. Oh my goodness. This is horrific. And here's Toilet Atma, French vanilla, at the Doom spot. Wow, this is a brutal KT. And just like in the Goddess fight, Toilet Atma does absorb Pearl, so can't use the Pearl Lance in this fight. Yeah, so this unfortunately means that Fleury is not going to get his skip. He will only have 10 unique bosses. When he skips out, however, at the Poltergeist spot, like I said, there is an opportunity to head over to World of Ruin Mobliz, pick up your dead check, and potentially get 2 bosses to skip in. You'll probably save some time. It depends. How long do you think your Mobliz check will take? Because like I said, it's about 3 to 4 minutes of walking back in the tower. So if you could defeat the World of Ruin Mobliz check in less than 3 minutes, then it will save you some time. Otherwise, it doesn't. Alright. One more boss to go over for Green Monkey, and we'll see. Alright, chat. We've done predictions all race. What is our last boss of this seed? What do we think? I'm going to go with a personal favorite of mine, Air Force. And I use the term favorite loosely there. Or can we get the statue, you know, the all Kefka Tower, where we get either Poltergeist or Guardian or Inferno at the last statue spot? Yeah, we have seen Leader already once. And here we go. Green Monkey is going to show us the last boss. Oh my goodness, somebody give me a medal. It is Air Force. Alright, so even though I lost my race, I win at life, as here comes Goner from Air Force. Dear Lord. Sabin has a lot of HP, though. Unfortunately, Air Force is a pain in the you-know-what. Yeah, so Sabin had 6,700 HP, and now he only has 4,400 HP. Which is kind of insane that he still has so much HP, but he also lost over 2,000, and there's another 1,000. Is Sabin just not wearing anything? Like, how is he getting hurt that badly? Yeah, this is brutal. Oof, down goes Edgar. Yeah, so when the little cannons are casting things like Landslide and Flare, and the main part's casting Goner, this is going to be a rough fight. I wish I was cheating. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. Alright. That's Air Force down. But not very quietly. Alright, and Green Monkey, with that, has relinquished his, or vanquished? Has vanquished his final foe. And he's going to be getting ready for final Kefka. Meanwhile, Fleury gets disappointed that that is yet another goddess, and he'll be even more disappointed that he gets Doom right after this. Alright, so just for reference, 1:20:15 is stepping on the switches. That is a 19-minute and 45-second Kefka's Tower. A bit on the lengthy side, because like I said, when you're walking through the tower twice, you definitely accumulate the miles on that Fitbit. We got some predictions as to how long this Kefka fight will take. Well, the Kefka fight's not scaled, and his levels are pretty high. So I'm thinking, let's go with 7 minutes. No, 7's really fast. I'll go with 8. 7's a little too fast. Although we do have Mute, we have Instant Death, and we have Calmness Protection, so we have everything we need for this battle. Alright, here we go. It's final Kefka time. Tier 1 is mostly physical damage, so Edgar's going to be in a little bit of trouble here after the beating that he took against Air Force. Very nice. Instant Death on the long arm. The head is weak to fire, so we got that Fire 3 spell coming out from Setzer. And we don't want to have the head last because he'll death counter with Quake, which is very nasty. Alright, there you see Sortech 7, which does ignore defense, doing about 24 to 2,500 damage a swing. So it's about damage cap. It's just split amongst multiple targets, unless, of course, you're left with one thing standing like it is now. A bit lengthy on the animation side, but it's hard to argue with damage cap damage every single turn. Alright, and that's Fleury's statue boss dead. His first statue boss. He is now at 10 unique bosses. So we'll see if he decides to walk all the way through Kefka's tower again, or if he does some trickery. Like I mentioned, maybe he can go to World of Ruin Mobliz, knock out 2 bosses with 1 check, and be back in the tower at the statue spot. And that's tier 1 dead for Green Monkey. Setzer is dangerously low in HP. Maybe he could borrow some of that from Sabin, who has clearly been hitting the gym. Alright, we got 4 parts for tier 2. We got 1 susceptible to instant death, so I expect the Doom to come out. We've got another that's susceptible to mute, which is magic, which is great. We have Ice 3 as well, which is the weakness of Tiger. And it's just hit who hits things. Looks like Fleury is going to take this opportunity to go learn Bum Rush. This is a 40 to 50 second cutscene, but it allows you at level 42 to learn the Bum Rush ability for your Blitz user. It ignores defense and is extremely powerful. However, like all blitzes, you cannot target any blitz. Oh no, we got a muddled Setzer as well. Setzer with a giant mace in his hand. Alright, so it looks like Green Monkey may have not gotten the Esper with mute on it. And oh, 2 out of 3 best be frozen. Thankfully, he has the fire spell on Sabin. That's the only way to unthaw your party, is to use fire magic. And Edgar and Setzer are taking a beating here. Alright, so Fleury is going to learn Bum Rush, and he's going to hop back in the tower. So even if Green Monkey does take an unfortunate death at this point on Kefka, he's still an entire Kefka tower ahead of Fleury, including 2 more bosses too. So he's built up quite a nice lead for himself here. Fleury trying to remember what party goes where. So we cleared out the middle path, which is actually party number 3. So he wants to put 2 of his characters in party number 1 and 2 of his characters in party number 2. And that will be his best way forward. And leave party number 3 with one of the scrubs on the bench. There we go. He's making the right decisions now. Perfect. Yeah, sometimes, you know, us as runners, we're used to having our parties in the same spots all the time, so sometimes it takes a little bit of mind trickery to figure out where to place our people. And Sabin, unfortunately, has stopped. That's what that pink hue around him is. The only way to get rid of a stop is with the Dispel cast, and I believe we have it. Or at least I thought I saw it. There is a remedy. So he stopped and asleep. Quit bullying Sabin. Fleury getting the Moogle Charm for this party of 2. Alright, and it looks like the stop has worn off of Sabin, and he's rise and shine, so he'll be okay now. Oof. That flare spell just doing massive damage there to Setzer. Alright, so Magic countering with Quarter, and so Magic is on his way out. He's not dead yet, unfortunately, but he's definitely getting towards the bottom of his HP pool. Here come the Dispel counters. Unfortunately, Magic is still around. That should hopefully do it there. Alright, so he will avoid, as Hefe just mentioned, the dreaded Quarter followed by 10 hits. Because Magic is now out of the picture. Once Tiger is dead, that's the only real danger in this part of the fight. Because in the final Kefka battle, if one of your characters dies in between the transition between tiers, you don't get a chance to revive them. Some scrub off the bench will come in to tag in and help you out. And usually, they're not very good, because you've only been rocking with a party of 4 for most of the seed here. Sets are like the Bee Gees is staying alive here. On to tier 3, where we have Girl, who's got some, who absorbs everything non-elemental. Or rather, absorbs every element, so make sure to hit her with non-elemental or defense-ignoring stuff. And then we've got Sleep, which will start countering with some nasty things once he gets under 10,000 HP. And when he dies, has the opportunity to cast up to 2 instant-death physical specials called Calmness. Yeah, I may have overestimated Green Monkey's ability. I thought that he had Mute. And it's not that Mute, you know, makes it harder or anything. Just Magic casts take time. And Magic also has 40,000 HP. When you don't mute him, all of his, you know, counters as he's dying will just annoy the heck out of you. And I feel bad for Fleury here because he's in Kefka's tower now, probably panicking, because he's not used to doing, you know, this sort of route. He forgot to remove the debris from the path of Party 1, right? Because normally a lot of this Kefka tower movement is muscle memory for most runners, because we usually just do the same things all the time. When you're asked to do something fancy, you know, sometimes it doesn't necessarily work. Or you're not used to doing it. And much like some other runners in the community, a tornado has taken out Green Monkey's stream. Okay, there we go. He's back now. We're good. So hopefully everybody who was caught in a few of those crazy tornadoes is doing all right. Because that's some scary stuff. Here you see Golem block from Calmness. And Green Monkey is on to the final Kefka here. Fantastodon pointing out that it's because the chest doesn't sparkle when you come back in. Yeah, I could agree. I could very easily miss that if it's not the sparkly chest and you don't know, oh yeah, I have to hit this. All right. So we got final Kefka here for Green Monkey. 60,000 HP in total. Will cast Fallen One after the first turn, unless you've done more than 30,000 HP. Because once he's under 30,000 HP, he will start casting things like Havoc Wing and Hyperdrives as counters. And when he gets under 10,000 HP, he has a possibility of countering with Ultima, which is usually a party wipe, but Sabin has so much HP, he could probably eat 2 or 3 Ultimas. He could eat all those big blue bubbles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. However, there is some reprieve for counterattacks. Once he starts charging his ultimate move, called Goner, he will not counterattack. And given that Kefka just took a Hyperdrive and didn't cast Fallen One, I think that Green Monkey is past the 30,000 HP damage threshold here. He's just waiting on some of his jumpers to come back down. There you see the power of the Man-Eater doing double damage there to final Kefka with those jumps. Alright, very nice. Terra gets in the air before the head comes out, though she will land before Kefka casts Goner. Not that I foresee that to be a problem, because like I said, Sabin has a stupid amount of HP. And I think that's it. Yes! The Crack Pow GG's won. 32-52 is your final time for Green Monkey. And for reference, that is a 12-minute and 37-second Kefka. So very nicely done to people that said that it was going to take him about 12 minutes to do that. Very nice. And we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself. Green Monkey, congratulations on your first place victory. GG's.
Thanks. It was interesting seed, I guess.
Yeah, so tell me about your mindset behind first, you know, the Setzer's Dice flag set, and then more specifically, what the heck happened in this particular seed?
I think I'd take a little bit more time up front in the seed to make sure I have proper offense and defense. I've just found the seeds to be, like, on average way too trolly.
Yep.
To do otherwise. And, you know, maybe I could have got, like, lucky and, I don't know, I got the early egg. Maybe I should have gotten a little aggressive, but thrown that on 7 right away. But I did a lot of, like, I don't know, I had everyone pretty strong, and I think 7 had 8 million hit points at the end. So.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a character with more than 8,000 HP before. That was that was a little insane. So, so yeah, early on in the seed, you did jump into the Coliseum, got to dodge a timely Blowfish with all of those boots and horns and shop, and ended up picking up an experience egg as one of the high-tier items. Have you been normally visiting the Coliseum with Setzer's Dice, or does it depend on what you get out of the chests in the early game?
I would say it depends, but just about every time I do it, so... like, I'd have to really get hooked up, I think.
Gotcha.
Generally speaking, I'm not. Terra gives me, like, a little bit of a different approach, but, like, because of all the chests that you get. Right. So, like, I think you actually maybe even get into the higher tier chests that you normally wouldn't get into, because you normally have to loot like 1 million chests to get into those. So I think it at least makes chess a little bit more interesting. But I don't know. For the most part, I've been more into shops in this seed. Um, like my typical pathing is I just go like Narsh right to South Figaro because I want like the 4 shops towns.
Yep,
And then I
yep.
go to the other South Figaro and then Coliseum.
Yep, as we see Fleury stepping on the switches now. 136-21. So yeah, talk about towards the end of the seed. Well, first of all, it was kind of a railroady seed. You either had to get your character from Daryl's Tomb or your other character from Phantom Train, and I think in both of your cases, both of you got Edgar and Locke, right? And you ended up picking up Strago late as an extra character. Did you just do it just because you're like, hey, I'll end up in the Masa here, and I can go...
Yeah, it was like 30 seconds from a boss or whatever, and I was like, this is one more boss. Maybe I can still finagle the skip here. And so I was just like, plus I experience good, and I don't know. I think I would have
experienced good.
Say I got an Esper there, I probably would have done Search the Skies as well. So just for the experience and whatever and convenience. So I was just like, that might as well.
Yep. Well, you did get past Magimaster first by cracking that ice shield, and then, of course, there was an Esper with Berserk on it later in the seed, but that's all right because you already defeated that. Tell us a little bit about Kefka's Tower, where you fought 2 Dooms, 1 Goddess, an Atma, and an Air Force. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it made me glad that I ran up the center with the whole party for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, just as an FYI, Fleury did do Toilet Atma, and it was also Goddess. So it was a brutal Kefka Tower all the way around.
Yeah, jeez. No, I feel like... yeah, I don't know. I was very glad I went up the middle, I guess. It's all it comes down to. Because they were pretty trivial, to be honest, like with the whole party, you know?
Yes,
so,
yes.
It wasn't too bad, so... Goddess, I was surprised. I don't think she did anything, so it was cool.
Yeah, we were wondering, I think you had like 8 or 9 bosses going into Kefka Tower, and it was like, well, if we could run into 3 different bosses here, then maybe you could do skip, but unfortunately that was not to be with the Double Doom.
Right. As soon as I saw Double Doom, I kind of just gave up. I had a brief thought of like going over to Fumbaba to fight a couple bosses, but I pushed that out of my brain.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying in when we were, it's sort of like a meta strategy, right? Where you know that Mobliz has Funbaba 3, which is always going to be a unique boss, and then you have the chance of fighting a second boss, but you save maybe like 3 or 4 minutes walking through Kefka's Tower a second time. So are you going to complete that check in under the 3 or 4 minutes and have you actually save time or not, right? That's sort of the...
Right. And then that second boss might have been like Doom.
Yeah.
It was just like, I guess I can't take that chance. But did you see that when I fought Senior Behemoth the second time, it was the undead version only?
Yeah, so similar to how you visit Senor Behemoth on the Veldt, you only get the second half of it when you fight it multiple times.
Oh, interesting.
So
I think it didn't count as a boss either, which was, I guess, makes sense. But
yeah. I think that's part because maybe the monster formation automatically gets changed. Somebody who's smarter than me that knows code would have to explain why that works, but but yes, I did see, and I did take a note of it. I had not seen it before. Before I had done a different practice race, and that's how I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. But obviously, we don't usually play with random bosses instead of shuffled, right? So it's something new to.
Yeah. There's been a lot of that in these Coliseum flags where you get to see little random parts of the game that you hadn't seen before, which is kind of interesting.
So not next week, because the upper bracket will have next week off, so you will not be doing anything with Gogo's Mirror. But you will be facing off against Falcon Hit, which I believe is an opponent that you're pretty familiar with, being in the same Ultros League division, correct?
Not anymore. Yeah, I got bumped out after. I was Mega, but I couldn't.
Oh, I thought he was Mega in Season 1 as well.
Well, Season 1 we were in the same.
Yeah.
But I know Falcon's a great racer, so it'll be a knockdown, drag out brawl. No holds bar.
Well, this is normally where I'd ask you about what do you think you're going to do for next week's seed, but since you're not doing Gogo's Mirror, is there any flag set that you'd like to run against Falcon Hit? Maybe something you think you're good at and he's not, or just a flag set that you looked at and said, oh, this might be fun. Let me do that one.
I actually haven't looked at any flag set really that isn't the one that I have to prepare for the week, I guess. So the Mog one looks fun, I guess. Everyone's a Moogle. That looks cool.
Yeah. Lots of Dragoons in that seed. I mean, there are lots of Dragoons in this seed, too. When you have cheap Boots and Horn in a shop and cheap Pearl Lance in another shop, that's what I think two of your characters were doing. Unfortunately, you also ran into, bosses like Atma and Goddess that absorbed Pearl, so you couldn't even use that strategy.
Yeah, I was surprised Wing Edge and Maneater were hitting pretty good, though, so I was like, all right, this is funny. But,
yeah.
Just going to make a quick swap and they're good, but I actually left Maneater on Terra for the final fight.
Yeah, I saw that.
I guess they could have got cute with, flipping it on and off, but I just wanted, another Goddess thing, or late girl thing, I guess, and I think it's pretty good against, I don't know if it's better than Pearl Lance mathematically against the humanoids, but there's a few humanoids in there. I think Hit, Magic, Rest, and Kefka.
Yep.
Maybe Head too, I don't know.
Yeah, it gets to be interesting when you look through, oh, what does what. Usually you could tell by the sprite, but sometimes sprites lie in Worlds Collide. So
Yeah. I was looking it up the other day for whatever reason. I had Command here, and I was like, oh, I've never really gone deep on this. So
for sure. Well, again, congratulations on your win. You're moving on to the next round in the upper bracket of our Coliseum. You got any other final thoughts before we let you go?
Nope. I think that's it. GG, and thanks for restreaming.
Yeah, well, thank you for agreeing to be featured last minute. I had some time here where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna duck out a little early from work on a Friday and do this instead. So
Nice.
But very awesome. So thank you so much for letting us broadcast you, and again, congratulations and good luck in the next round.
Thanks. We'll see.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, we got Fleury, who is persevering to the end of this seed here. Looks like he's going to give some fixed dice to Setzer, because they will deal some decent damage against Girl. He doesn't appear to have a lot of non-elemental damage. Bahamut will certainly do the trick. And his whole party has haste on him. So I don't see a lot of runners using haste all that often, but obviously it helps speed up your battles because your characters will get more turns more often. Here comes the Fenrir cast to protect from Calmness. W Wind coming out. Oh, Sabin getting cut down there. Fortunately, we got a Cure cast already on the way. What I like to do with my Sword Tech users is use Sword Tech 5 a lot to do my healing. Now it's just a matter of, can we output some HP damage? And of course, since Terra got Bum Rush, we know that that's going to be the way to go. Thank you, Green Monkey, for the raid. Appreciate it. Here comes the Calmness, and swing and a miss. Very nice. So now we are up to final Kefka here. Since Green Monkey is raiding, his stream is going to get cut off shortly. I know that everybody loves the outro to Final Fantasy VI. It takes like forever. But if the feed's going to get cut off, then it's going to look all wonky on the stream anyway. Alright, so now we got Final Kefka, and we're going to go Bum Rush first, of course. Hopefully Locke can jump out of the way of Fallen One. Yeah, let's see. Nope. So you see it already hosted. It already hosted us. Womp womp. Nice quad jump there from Locke coming in. Very nicely done. Sabin putting in work with his sword tech here. Alright, so Fleury also did more damage than 30,000 HP, so he was able to skip Fallen One, similar to Green Monkey. Oh. Locke also going to eat a hyperdrive, and we're down to 2. Thankfully, Sabin maybe doesn't have as much HP as Green Monkey Sabin, but at 5,200, that's a lot here. And we're going to get another couple of 10,000 damaged swings per turn here from both Terra and Sabin. I don't know if this will be enough damage to kill him here, so we will see a goner. However, Kefka is not long for this world. The only problem is if he decides to use Havoc Wing twice in a row, that might end up being a problem here. So Fleury is probably under that close to that 10,000 HP threshold. He doesn't necessarily want to proc an ultimate counter. Although with Sabin with 5,200, he'll definitely have enough HP to survive this. And I think this is it. Yes, it is! 1:48:20, the final time for Fleury. We'll see if he wants to do an interview. But get your GGs in chat. Go tell him congratulations and excellent perseverance there. And we'll see now that Fleury's in here. And here he is. Congratulations on finishing that disgusting seed, Fleury. Awesome job there.
Thanks. Yeah, apparently I don't know how to count to 12, or I just messed something up. Maybe you know the answer to this. I don't. But and watching a couple of the races, I noticed. I think it was your race. I think you were the one who actually did it. Went in to take the second Phantom Train fight, and the boss counter went up.
Yep.
I was like, okay, that's a pretty good call. Like it's quick. I get to suplex it.
Yes. So you actually won the seed technically because you suplexed the train and Green Monkey did not. So forget what it says on the actual bracket. Even though you did not win this race, you won our hearts over.
So I thought I went in with 8. And I did Inferno, the 2-stat, also LOL at all the statues in Kefka's Tower.
Oh yeah, Kefka's Tower was brutal.
So I did the statue, Guardian, Inferno, and Toilet Atma, and then I ended up at 10. And I'm like, well, if it turns out Phantom Train doesn't count, which, if it doesn't, okay. I should have been at 11, and maybe Toilet Atma doesn't count, but I'm pretty sure that one does. So I don't know how I ended up at 10.
All right, so let me try and see if we could figure this out. So the boss counter is for unique bosses, right? So if you fight Doom twice, it only counts as one.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
That's
where
what it is.
that's what happened. Since you fought Goddess twice and Doom twice, they
And
technically
Vargas
only
twice.
count. Yeah, Vargas was in there twice as well. They only counted as one, right? So that's why, it was unfortunate, because we had already seen Green Monkey go through the middle part, and we saw, oh God, there's Doom there twice, and then there's what was the other? Oh, and Goddess. So we're like, that's pretty bad. Let's see what this Toilet Atma is, and of course, it's also Goddess. Plus, you had Toilet Atma on the left side and Air Force on the right side. So
That was some kind of tower.
it was a bit
Okay, it's
ridiculous.
good to know. So I would have been one short going in anyway with
Right.
seeing Vargas twice.
Yeah, and
All right.
so Phantom Train did count as a unique boss for you, or Ghost Train rather, because we hadn't seen it anywhere else.
Right.
Additionally, what I did in my race, which you could have done, is if you go to World of Ruin Mobilis, you're guaranteed to get Fun Baba 3, which is always going to be a
Yeah, that
unique
counts
boss.
as 2.
And you're going to get the next boss after that. So if the second boss is not a unique boss, then it only counts as 1. Otherwise, it counts as 2. So it's one of those weird situations where it's not necessarily boss kills; it's unique boss kills. So
No, I think that's an interesting wrinkle because, and this is coming from a tournament organizer perspective, it's whenever you try to input a new setting or any kind of new thing like that, there always tends to be like an established meta.
Right.
All right, I'm just gonna get 12 bosses, and this throwing a possible wrinkle into that with having 3 duplicates, which is very rare, but it happened.
Or
So
you could
I
fight the same boss like 4 or 5 times, right?
yeah. So I think that's a good thing. Good to know going into next round. I guess the only other question I'd have about that seed was that did I miss anything that was some like Illumina / Ragnarok /
No.
VK?
No,
Okay.
you did go to the Coliseum, although you did get Chupon in the first battle, which is
Yeah, that wasn't great.
which is awful. But you did end up getting the experience egg. Green Monkey got it slightly before you, but it was still both very early in the seed for both of you, where it didn't really matter all that much, right? So everything was kind of even. You guys both got your go mode around the same time. It was about a little shy of an hour into the seed. You did a lot more shopping after you got your go mode. You did like 4 or 5 minutes of shopping. Whereas...
Yeah, Phoenix Downs.
Oh, okay. Yep. I was going to ask exactly
too.
what you were looking for. That makes sense. And then, taking the extra Toilet Atma boss, getting a little lost in Kefka's Tower, right? With
Haven't
the
done
party
that backwards.
composition. Yeah, doing it backwards, I've only done it like once or twice, but as I was saying on stream, a lot of people have muscle memory of doing the tower because you do it every race. And when you're asked to do something else, you're like, wait a minute, what the heck's going on here? So I felt that in my bones.
Yeah, I think on the way back from Toilet Atma, I went into the switch room anyway, and I'm like, oh, muscle memory, yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Okay, so then, yeah, nothing. I guess the biggest like wrench that got thrown in was a whole bunch of bosses that wouldn't give magic points, and I had an early Ice 3 Esper.
Yeah,
and I think it was like Vargas, and something else that didn't give any. It was like 4 or 5 boss fights where poor Setzer's sitting on that Ice 3 Esper for like 6 boss fights and not getting it.
Yeah,
and having to rely on jump and
Yeah.
slot. That's not fast.
Yeah, I sort of I made a note of that. I was like, I wonder why you're still using slots. And now hearing that, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer. I still am always back and forth on whether or not what do you call it? The going back to get Bum Rush is worth it, but it's so hard to turn down like an instant 10k on the Kefka fight, and that was one of the faster Kefka fights I've had. So I think it might have been worth it.
You stepped on the switches at 1:36:20, and what was your final time?
So, oh, okay. So it wasn't that fast then. It was 12 minutes. Usually
Okay,
I'm around like just under 15. So it wasn't the fastest one I've had, but
but it's very nice.
and it was safe.
Yeah.
Like I was never really in that much danger.
Yeah, my
So,
strategy with Bum Rush particularly is, well, it's a 45-second cutscene. If I get
yeah.
this, do I save 45 seconds of time somewhere, or do I make my life easier somewhere? If so, then go get it. If not, it's not worth it. And almost every time it's like, yes, it'll either save me 45 seconds, or it makes me feel safe going up one of my paths of the tower in case I run into something that's like, oh, I only have fire damage and this boss absorbs fire, right? Because then that's it. You're done on that one side. You know what I mean? Um, so unfortunately, with this loss, you're not out of the tournament yet. You are relegated to the lower bracket. And let's see. You are. This was race number 20. So who are you facing off against next week? You'll be
Is it
facing
okay
against.
to talk about?
Yeah, so you'll be facing
Okay.
off against Boo next
Boo,
week.
yeah.
And you'll be doing the Go-Go's Mirror flag set. Have you had a chance to take a look at that yet?
I just know that it is highest party member experience, if I remember right.
That is correct.
The
So,
scaling.
so the scaling is based on your party highest level. So this, you could go think about it two different ways. One, I could do all sorts of free checks, and I don't care if my progression increases because the scaling's based on my characters, not based on how much progression I have. Right? So I've been tending to do, let's go get a bunch of free checks out of the way, because then I can get espers, I can get high tier items, I can get characters. I'll do that immediately right away at the start of the seed. And with experience times 4, you do get experience a bit faster. However, towards the mid game, the bosses are going to be very rough. So
Yeah, this is a
be on
little
the
bit of a
lookout for
callback,
it.
I think, to like super early in Worlds Collide. That was
Yes.
generally how the scaling was, and you saw a couple of occasions where I think runners would take in like, well, this is also with experience split, always
Right.
being split, but
Right,
that was
right.
where you would take like one strong weak character and pump them up, and then have the strong character sit on the bench because Final Kefka was also scaled. I doubt that's the case this time. I
No,
don't think
it's
we've
not.
done that since. So,
Yeah, no.
but yeah, I think free checks. I guess the only infuriating thing is going to be the you would want to probably do Zone Eater check relatively early because it's a free
Yep.
check.
Yeah.
But there's going to be like a anywhere from 20-second to a minute and a half difference right off the bat, depending
Yep.
on how the red card dudes are feeling.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it's one
Ugh.
of those things where if you find a warp stone, like you could either head to Zone Eater right away, or what I've been doing is doing some
Find a warp
looting,
stone.
find a warp stone, so at least it saves me a little bit of time. The other thing is that Ultima is available, and
Oh,
also none of the commands are unavailable, right? So in my practice seed I had a character with possess.
no,
So
not
then
possess.
I
I never know
used
how to use that right.
I use Go-Go with Possess. So Possess will basically instant kill anything. However,
Yeah,
the person that does the possessing is removed from
is
your
also
party,
gone.
so they don't get any XP or MP or anything from the fight. And you have to go back to the airship to put them back on your
Yeah,
party.
don't use it in KT. I found that out in a tournament.
Yep. So number 1, don't use it in Kefka's Tower, otherwise it's awful. Number 2, that's a very easy way to just plow through bosses in case you're having like a little bit of trouble. If you get like a character that you're like, well, I'm not going to use this person anyway, let's just sacrifice them to the gods, as it were, right? And you get to possess Final Kefka. So Kefka is just not a problem at all. So that's the cool thing about it,
That'll be pretty satisfying.
So, but yeah, so that's Go-Go. The other thing is you do get auto reflect as the Coliseum reward, which could be really
Ew.
good because it will obviously reflect spells that target your party. However, it also will reflect healing spells that target your party. So it's one of those
Yeah.
catch-22s of,
Ability scaling is probably still ability type, right? I don't
yeah,
think
it's scaled
vanilla,
element. It's not random. It's not this. So in this flag set, it was random. In there, It is scaled element. However, it is 2.5 levels instead of 2 levels. So the enemies are going to be throwing out harder spells faster on you.
I don't think you do Coliseum very often, unless you're like 30 minutes in and you know you're not going to get any curing espers.
Yep.
But
Unless you got nothing. That's how
all
it's
right, well,
been
I'm going
for
to head
me,
on
so.
out. Appreciate you taking the time to restream this. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, thanks for allowing us to broadcast you. And again, sorry about your loss in here, but you're not out of the tournament yet, like me. You're still in it, and we're looking forward to seeing you go next week up against Boo. So good luck, and we'll talk to you then.
All right, thanks. You all have a good one.
All right, thanks a lot. So that's going to do it for us boys and girls in the chat. Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, Coliseum 2 Round 2. We got another match in the books. So stay tuned to this channel for more Worlds Collide races for our Coliseum event. We also are on the Speed Gaming channel every Wednesday, usually around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. However, this last week we had a different race at a different time. So check us out, ff6wc.com. In case you would like to join us at the Discord, that's the place to be. We're also on Twitter at ff6_WC and on Instagram at ff6wc. So go follow us on all the social places. And yeah, that's been it for this race. I've been TheSchwanz27, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya!